Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. GM's technology will go to Gaz. Toyota cannot seal court cases involving rollovers, and why VW has some of the dumbest car names in the business. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Friday, September 18th, 2009, and here's what's going on in the auto industry. In an unexpected turn, General Motors will let Opel and Russian automaker Gaz have access to its technology as part of the deal to spin Opel off. The German and Russian automakers will have to pay GM licensing fees for any GM technology they use, but this also applies to technology that is not yet in production. We'll have to see if that includes all the technology that goes with the Volt, including the Opel Ampera. A judge has ruled that Toyota cannot seal a U.S. lawsuit which alleges the company hid rollover data. Bloomberg reports that the judge ruled the case is already irreversibly public. A former lawyer of Toyota filed a lawsuit saying the company hid engineering and testing data in 300 rollover cases. And Bloomberg, by the way, filed a request that the judge not seal the case. After a down year, the auto show in Detroit for 2010 looks like it's picking up. According to the Detroit Free Press, the main floor of the show is already full, and organizers hope that automakers that did not make the show this year will be back for next year. New to the show will be an area called Electric Avenue, where electric car makers can display their vehicles. Even though there will be more to see, press days are only Monday and Tuesday, meaning no more Sundays, and boy, I sure appreciate it for the organizers doing that. GM dealers are asking for more vehicles in October than the company anticipated. According to an internal GM report obtained by the Detroit News, dealers want up to 4 times as many vehicles than it had intended to build. Demand was particularly high for the Chevy Equinox, Buick LaCrosse, and GMC Terrain. GM attributes the increased demand to the Cash for Clunkers program, low inventory, and its new 60-day satisfaction guarantee. Autoblog reports that the subcompact MAZDA2 is coming to America. Jim O'Sullivan, the company's president and CEO of North America, told dealers that the car will go on sale sometime around the end of next year. Hiroshima is expected to show a U.S. spec version at this year's LA Auto Show in early December. In Japan, the 2 is sold as the Demio, and it also shares the same architecture as the Ford Fiesta. A couple of weeks ago, we showed you some sketches of the next generation Hyundai Sonata, but now the company has officially revealed the 2010 model. Its design is a lot more stylish than the current one. You can see a bit of the Volkswagen Passat CC in the front end, the swoopy surfaces, and the short trunk lid. According to Autoblog, the North American version of the car will go into production early next year as a 2011 model. A hybrid version is expected about a year after launch. Does it really matter what the name of a car is? I used to think it made no difference whatsoever. Now, I'm not so sure, and we'll be talking about that right after this.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
Naming cars is a creative undertaking. Automakers typically hire companies that specialize in naming products. And this week on Autoline Detroit, my guest is Nina Beckhart, the president of a company called Namebase. In the following clip, we talk about the way Volkswagen names its cars. And joining in on that discussion are Gene Halliday from Advertising Age magazine and Peter DeLorenzo from Auto Extremist. Okay, you gave us a great example of a name. Give us a good example of a terrible name for a car. Do you have any?
I do. Volkswagen, for example. They have a wonderful visual branding identity, very consistent color, font, very cohesive. Their actual names of their cars, for me, leave something to be desired. Not only just in how much meaning they lack, the words tucked inside their names, Tiguan, Touareg. Tor, I kind of see where you're going with that one, and then to end it with egg, it's just clunky. So I view them as kind of the weird exchange student coming in with these weird names, and they're able to get away with it because they're kind of quirky, but they definitely don't communicate much.
In fact, Touareg is a good example because you almost have to be, if you look at the spelling of it, as an American, I think you have to be taught how to say the name, and that
they
can't
did
be
that
good.
in an ad. They sort of poked fun at themselves, probably because nobody knew how to say it, and they had, I don't know if you remember that ad, different people mispronouncing it and finally giving us the correct pronunciation.
But it's not cute, though. Volkswagen's been pulling this for years, and they basically shoot themselves in the head every time they introduce a new vehicle. It's just like, stop already.
By the way, you can watch that entire interview on our website right now at autolinedetroit.tv. And since it's Friday, you know what that means. Yeah, TGIF. But it also is time for me to give you this week's answer to our trivia question. We asked you for the engineering term that automakers use to describe the perfect air-fuel ratio in a gasoline engine, which is typically a ratio of about 14.7 to 1. And the correct answer is stoichiometric. A stoichiometric air-fuel ratio is considered the ideal one. As always, we pick the winner's name at random from all the correct answers, and the winner is David Setzer from Hamilton, Ohio. Congratulations, David. You just won this styling Eyes on Design poster. But before we go here, I want to remind you that Monday, September 21st, we're having Tom Stevens, GM's Vice Chairman of Product Development, in the studio. Starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, you'll be able to watch live as we tape an episode of Autoline Detroit. Then the discussion will continue in an exclusive web-only broadcast in which we'll be taking some of your questions and comments. You can submit questions in two ways. Send us an email at viewermail@autolinedetroit.tv. Make sure you put Tom Stevens' question in the subject line so we can find it easily, or you can leave us a voice message by dialing 1-620-288-6546. And that's it for today's news in the auto industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.